So these new neighbours, they leave their mess all over the shared driveway, and their parties all loud, and the kids can't get to sleep, and you can't reason with them. They just won't stop. It's awful. I don't know what to do. Is that your phone? No, it's well, maybe it's my... Yeah, it's my phone too. Is it? Well, it's my phone too. Hang on. It's one of those government messages. Hang on. Commencing at 11:59 p.m. tonight, the party will be locking down districts 4, 7 and 9. Human stock units in these districts are instructed to remain inside their designated dwellings.
A government message.
All heating will be prohibited to maintain. All heating will be prohibited.
Why did they turn the heating down?
WHO culling staff will visit allocated dwellings
Does this mean that we're
over
stuck
the
here
coming
with you?
days.
The doors are locking. What do we do now? I had a gender reassignment appointment. Last time this happened, they took the next door neighbours, the children and everything.
Look, you know we can't use power because they'll know that we're using heating because of the smart meter.
Does this mean that we're stuck here?
No.
This means that we have to stay here. So this is it. We're going to get frozen and turned into McDonald's burgers. We could be stuck here for weeks. We've probably not got enough food. It's going to be freezing tonight. It's going to be well below freezing tonight. You know it's going to be cold. You know it's only going to get colder and colder and colder and...
Stop it! I've got that diesel heater that I just bought.
But we're locked in. It's getting dark soon. We've got no diesel. I bet it's outside along with everything that we need to get it going.
No, I shoved it behind the couch so that your wife would go on at me about how untidy the place looks.
I remember last time this happened, they came and they got the neighbours, they took the children and everything. They've locked the doors. They've locked the doors. This is getting scary now. To get it going. I remember last time they did this, they came and they took the neighbours, the children and everything. You know that it's going to be well below freezing, don't you? You know that it's going to get colder and colder and colder, and you know that we've got no heating. We didn't even bring any extra clothes.
Go to the bathroom cabinet, get me some hairspray, a pair of scissors and some nail polish remover.
Now's hardly the time for a haircut.
Can you just calm down for a minute, please?
What do we do now?
Can you just calm down for a minute, please? Look, don't stress. I've got a plan. Oh! Yeah, what? And bring me the first aid kit. I'll need some tape. Now take the heater out of that box and give me the box.
What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Ticky tape.
Sticky tape, bro. Just calm down a little bit, eh?
Oh, okay. Will this do?
Bro, it's a climate lockdown. When are you going to start trusting me instead of that lady from the government who says that she's the only source of truth?
It doesn't say anything on here about diesel heaters. What if they find out? Are you sure that this is legal? I mean, has it been approved? You have to follow the science, you know that. Bro, you're not following the science, you're following the media who are telling you to follow the science. The science doesn't exist. That lady from the government says that she's the one and only source of truth. She said nothing about this. Bro, it's a climate lockdown because collectively all of us that live around here have overused our carbon allowance. We're getting locked down and they're coming in to harvest carbon. And guess what? You're the carbon that they want to harvest. But I don't understand how turning off the power and keeping us locked in our houses is going to protect us from the pandemic. Bro, it's a climate change lockdown. You know that you're the carbon that they want to eliminate.
Now get the heater out of the box and give me the box.
Right, bring me the hairspray, bro. Bro, why are you even walking like that? Well, it's isn't it like a video game?
It's my Mario walk.
Bro, can you just stop that? It's not a video game, it's live action role play, okay? Well, bro, while you were in the bathroom looking for the hairspray, I was measuring around this window because what we're going to do is out of that cardboard box, I'm going to make something that'll fit in here, and it's going to be strong enough and weatherproof enough for the diesel heaters to sit here. It'll pull air in from one side, it'll pass the warm air out into here, and the government's drones won't be able to see a thing.
Hairspray is awesome for stiffening and waterproofing cardboard and paper. Bro, where did you get that knife? It's out of the drawer. I got it out of the kitchen. That's a K-Tel Ginsu steak knife, the one that dices, chops, juliennes and slices, isn't it? I don't know, bro. It's just a knife from out of the drawer. It's just... Well, don't you remember that I got you in... Back in 1978 for Christmas, they were very expensive. It was a K-Tel Ginsu steak knife that cuts and slices, juliennes and dices. I remember. I don't know, man. It's just a knife, all right? I don't know. Well, you shouldn't be cutting cardboard with it. It's a very expensive knife. Bro, it's just a knife, alright? Yeah, but I got you that for Christmas back in... No. Bro, it's just a knife, alright? Fucking, I build cabins with this knife, man. I do gardening with this. Well, I just think that you should be taking more care of the present that I carefully chose for you all that time ago, alright? Yeah, alright, bro. Bro, it's LARP. Live action roleplay, not fucking Nintendo, alright? These pieces of cardboard are now pretty much like thin plywood. A bit of duct tape around all of the corners will soon make the thing absolutely draft proof, and because it's attached all the way around, duct tape actually gives it a lot more stiffness than it even had before. You know, this would be a great installation for somebody who doesn't own their own home, where they can't go making structural changes, drilling holes and blocking things up and whatnot. If you were in a nurse's home or student accommodation or a rental house, this is a great way that you could keep yourself warm if there's no power available or heating.
Right, give me those plastic 6-inch zip ties, the black ones that were in the box with the heater. Yeah, the ones for attaching the wiring loom. Grab those, bring them over here, thanks. Awesome.
Strong. Right, on the bottom of these heaters you'll find the two ports. One's the inlet for the air for the combustion, the other is the exhaust for the heat gases for the combustion. The inlet is the one that has the diesel pipe closest to it, so you put the inlet onto that one first, making sure of course that you've put the metal plate and the silicon gasket over first, because they provide a gas tight seal between the inside and the outside, and that ensures that you've got a carbon monoxide free installation. This is the exhaust pipe and the muffler. Yep, even though there's no engine, it still needs a muffler because it gives a little roaring noise, and that muffler does a great job of quietening it down. So that goes on there like that. Although I've provided a reasonable amount of space around the exhaust port, I'm going to double this aluminium cooking foil over and put that in the hole to give a heat shield edge around it. Americans, if you can't find aluminium foil, you can use aluminum foil. Now this is a bit like returning a set of bagpipes to the wild. It's rather excited to get in the hole, and it's a bit wriggly, but if you make sure that all the pieces are in, you've got 3 pipes to get in: the inlet, the exhaust and the fuel pipe. Now, getting the fuel pipe in, make sure that there's no kinks, because you don't want fuel delivery supply problems. Sit that down, making sure that you haven't displaced the little aluminum foil heat shield. And now we're ready to connect up the ancillaries. Make sure that the exhaust pipe is away from the window, and make sure that the inlet is away from the exhaust pipe. Only needs to have about an inch between either of them, but it does just get warm, and if it's in contact it may heat the glass up too much. The digital readout just clips into its holder. There's 2 meters of wiring loom, so you can get creative if you need to. There's only 3 terminals and each plug is different, so you can't get it wrong. You just find the plug that goes into the plug and plug it in. That one's for the fuel pump up the top, so we've got one for the fuel pump, one for the digital readout, and the other one goes into the unit itself. And then of course you've got 2 more wires, which are a red and a black, and they get connected to a 12 volt power supply.
Right, have a look, I'll show you what I've done so far. Heater's in the box. I've got the fuel pump on an angle so that air bubbles will rise out of it. I've mounted the control here so that we can all use it. The wiring loom, it's only 3 plugs and each one is different, so you can't get it wrong. You just find the one that goes with the other, plug it in, and then we've just got to put this to a 12 volt. And then we've just got to put this to a 12 volt supply. So, go into the laundry and there's a tall cabinet. And in the bottom of that tall cabinet there's a box full of old transformers and power supplies. There's a big one in there from an Xbox. Get the Xbox 360 power supply. That's the one to use. Awesome, that's the one. Well, the reason I want to use this is because it's a high amperage power supply. When these things start, they draw about 9 amps for the first 2 or 3 minutes while they warm up, and then it drops right back, and they're really cheap to run. But these things, like I say, they're a good strong power supply. And what we're going to do, let's connect this up because we've still got power, and they won't know. The smart meter is going to think that we're just gaming. Now there's one little drawback with this. These things are a dual circuit. There's actually 2 transformers in one. One takes it from 240 volts down to 12 volts. The other takes it from 240 volts down to 5 volts. And we've got to fool it. That's why it's got so many wires here. Now we've got to fool it and connect these wires together so that it thinks it's still plugged into an Xbox. Otherwise we won't get the 12 volts out of it, because the 5 volts turns on the 12 volt circuit. It's a bit of a hack. People have been using these as high amperage. It's a bit of a hack. People have been using these for a few years to power all sorts of 12 volt electrical projects that have got a reasonably high draw. So you've just got to know which wires to join together. And I don't, so you're going to go and get me a multimeter now, okay? The multimeter's over by my desk. And we'll check these wires out and find out just which one does what. This is an accessory one. That's a Chinese knockoff. Not the same wiring as a genuine Xbox. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is put it on a 20 volt DC scale because we're working with something under 20 volt, 12 volt, and we're going to find the activation circuit, the 5 volt activation circuit. Right, that's it there. Okay, so we know that this is the earth. So we're going to wrap these two together, and when these two together, the red light on the Xbox should go green. There it goes, and the fan starts. That's good. Right, so it's now recognizing the 5 volts. Twist that together. I'll put some insulation on there, and we should now have a good healthy 12 volts across here. There we go, 12.58. So we'll put a bit of tape over here. Hey, just a little tip. When you pull tape, it stretches. If you cut it, it's going to start shrinking. Always just leave it for a few moments. Let the tape shrink back to its original tension. Then cut it, and you'll have a stable piece of tape, not one that's curling up and shrinking as you try to use it. Right. Now, we're going to bare these wires off a little more, just to give me a bit of extra to work with. And we're going to connect the diesel heater. Red to red, black to black, obviously. Now, something we need to remember about these diesel heaters is that there is no off. When they're not being used, they remain in standby, and they do use a little bit of battery power. So having it on a power supply like this is a bonus because we can turn it off when it's not being used. So if I connect these two heat wires here like this, you'll see the control module up there fire up. And there we go, we're in business. Bit of insulation. Next, we've got the rice bran oil and the nail polish remover. We're going to put the nail polish remover into the rice bran oil because nail polish remover is pretty much 100% acetone. And acetone is an awesome thinner and accelerant. So we're going to add the entire of the acetone into here. That's going to thin down the rice bran oil and hopefully turn it to the same consistency as diesel. Certainly looking better. We're almost ready to go now. Right, the first thing we're going to do is start the priming cycle, and we do that by hitting these two buttons simultaneously. And that's off, so we're going to turn it on and it will start to pump. We're now in that priming cycle. Fuel's going to get sucked up and we'll be ready to burn in a few minutes. So now it's primed. All we've got to do now is hit the on button and it goes through a warm-up cycle and starts all by itself.
So now you can see that the fan's turning, the glow plug is on. It's just going through a 60 to 90 second warm-up phase before it ignites. Come and have a look out the window. It's probably not even smoking. There you go. Rice bran oil. A little bit of nail polish remover. No smoke at all. It's just coming up to full speed now. You can hear that. That's the heater going full noise. Lovely warm air coming into the room. We're sorted. All on. Rice bran oil and nail polish remover. So if you've stayed with us right till the end, thank you for having a laugh with us. Yep, live action roleplay. We're not really taking this seriously. We don't really think that the government wants to lock us in our homes through some kind of climate lockdown and limit our heating and access to food. It's just live action roleplay. But stay tuned for the next issue on Tiny House and Off-Grid Resources, because I've seen many people running these on alternative fuels over the last few weeks with limited success, every one of them, because they're all going down the same lines. I want to try something a little different. So in next week's video, I'm going to be running this Chinese diesel heater on Jack Daniels. Bro, you're amazing. Every time I come and see you, I learn something new. There's always something going on down here.